What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the PrizePicks Pick Show. Been real close the last 2 days to more 6 for 6 38x plays. We're gonna have a handful of them today. Hopefully, it's gonna be a huge day. Trying to repeat what we did on Wednesday night when we got that big 38x hit. Once again, we're gonna have a mix of some NBA plays. I've got two that I absolutely love tonight. Actually, today I should say. We got games starting here at 1 o'clock, going throughout the rest of the night in the NBA. And then a pretty big slate of MLB games as well, starting. I think there's a game at 3, a handful at 4, and then a bunch 7 o'clock and on as well. So most of the picks tonight are going to be from the baseball side of things. Most of them are going to be pairs that we're stacking together of hitters, but we're going to pair them potentially with two of these NBA plays that I really like. And I don't have the exact demon plays picked out yet, but we'll kind of go through on this show how I select those demons. So should be a really fun show. Let's jump right in. And as you can see, we're going to start on the NBA side of things. By the way, as always, if you are building your own plays, maybe you already started to build some this morning. If you've got, 5 that you love and you're just looking for one more and you've got already a handful picked and you want to ask me, hey, what do you think of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, more than 1.5 steals today? Anything like that, just drop that here in the YouTube chat. We can go over anything that you want as well. In the meantime, let's go to my favorite picks of the day. We're going to start Tyler Hero less than half a steal, basically saying he doesn't get a steal tonight. Now, this win probability is absolutely enormous, 88.5%. I don't know that it's quite that high, but for some context here, he has a steal in each of the first 2 games of the series. He also had a steal in the final regular season game. Prior to that, he went 15 consecutive games without a steal. 15 consecutive games without a steal. It's absolutely insane. He's a guy that doesn't get a ton of steals. Steals are down across the board in the playoffs as pace really slows down, and also guys just tend to take more care of the ball in the playoffs. And Boston tied with Philadelphia for dead last in the regular season with opponent steals allowed per game. So everything about this pick screams take the less than 0.5. Again, for some extra context here, like the only reason why this pick is even available is because he has a steal in each of the first 2 games. So if you look at this, if you look at the game log and say, oh, I don't know if I want to take the less than here, he's already gotten a steal in each of the first 2 games. Understand, you would never have the opportunity to pick this if he hadn't gotten a steal in each of the first 2 games, because his likelihood of getting a steal in any game, period, is so low to begin with. So PrizePicks never would have offered this if he didn't have the steal in each of the first 2 games. We don't care about the last 2. We care about the overall sample. This is a guy who doesn't get steals against a team that doesn't give up steals. Absolutely love this start. Again, do I think it's 88.5%? Maybe not. That's probably an overestimate because a lot of our rate stats are looking at, last 5 rolling average, last 10 rolling average, last 15 rolling average. And in those cases, he won 15 straight games without a steal. But that's also a point to take it. I would put this win probability somewhere around 75%, which is still absolutely enormous. So love this one. Next one, it's going to feel a little bit uncomfortable because we're going to a player who really has struggled in this series. CJ McCollum, more than 21.5 points. Understand, this is a guy who averaged 20 points per game in the regular season in just 32.7 minutes. Now he should continue to push around 40 minutes in this one. And there's no Zion. We've got this at 70.1%. Going back home as well should help. And also remember, Orlando got absolutely blown out in the first 2 games of the series. Sometimes the first 2 games tell us absolutely nothing about what's going to happen in game 3. Yes, McCollum has struggled, but he's getting the shots up. He's getting good looks from 3. They just haven't fallen. We shouldn't expect that to continue regardless, but the fact that they're also moving from the away arena back home, that should also help him potentially turn around that shooting. And that shooting should just turn around based on randomness alone. So really like both of these NBA plays. I'm going to use them together quite a bit, and we're going to pair them with a lot of these MLB hitter pairings. So let's go over to the MLB tool now and just take a look. As soon as this loads up, we've got some great pairings right at the top. Corey Seager, Marcus Semien. We can put these in. You can see they each are around 56%. You get a really nice 2 percentage point correlation bonus. So that's fantastic. You can see we already got some. Oh man, look at that. Hero steals already off the board. That is a huge bummer. Maybe we'll look to add another NBA play at the end of the show here, but we also are going to have so many MLB plays that we might not even need to go back to that. So let's continue to jump into these baseball pairings. Unfortunately, these guys don't have any hits plus runs plus RBI picks, which is why I'm actually going to look towards their fantasy points. Like we did yesterday, we might be able to go to one of their demons, looking at the 2.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs for either of them. I don't know if they're up yet. Again, I'm probably going to drop a handful of 6-pick plays into the Pick'em channel Discord after the show. Not sure entirely which demons we're going to be using just yet, but I like this pairing. I also like, you can see Taylor Ward and Mike Trout here. Now let's just put these fantasy points in to begin with. Notice 55%, 54%, overall 30.4% combined. Now, if we go to the hits plus runs plus RBI and we add these same guys, Trout and Taylor Ward, look at this, 63%, 56.4, from 30% all the way up to over 35%, just from going from the fantasy points to the hits plus runs plus RBI. And we also eliminate the possibility that Trout ties his. So absolutely love these hits plus runs plus RBI. Now, let's talk about one of my favorite things to do with this tool. We can keep these guys here. I believe, now, I don't know for sure that these are both up yet, but most of the time when a guy has 1.5 hits plus run plus RBI prop available, he also has a demon at 2.5. So what I like to do with the tool is I want to know, should I make Trout the demon or should I make Ward the demon? It isn't always obvious, and it's often not just whoever has the highest projection, that's the guy who you should go to the demon, because some guys are going to have different distributions. I think we'll have a good example with the Braves as well that I can show. But here we've got, so Mike Trout and then Taylor Ward. Trout as the demon. Let's see what that does to the percentage. Looks like that's not loading correctly. We need to get Ward back in there. Sometimes it just takes a little bit longer when you go with these demons. Perfect. So combined, we've got a 25.8% chance that this demon pair hits. If we switch that around, if we instead go, let's just take Trout back to the usual and let's make Ward the 2.5. So I think we had 25.8% is what I said there. Ward, you can see he's less likely, naturally, to get to 2.5. Trout, more likely, though, to get to 1.5, 25.2%. So this went down just a little bit. Means it's probably not overly important which one you select, but it does look like Trout is going to be the better demon out of this pairing. Another one that I always like to look at, Marcell Ozuna, Matt Olson. Let's just first take a look at these guys. Again, really strong pairing, 54.4, 55.5, but a really strong correlation. So this overall is a great win probability. And let's see, if we go to Ozuna as the demon, I'm just going to get rid of that. With Ozuna as the demon, this is 25.9%. So check that out. More likely that this demon pair hits than that Angels pairing ever so slightly, 25.9% to 25.8%. But why is that? Because Ozuna is so heavily skewed towards the over because, he's likely to go either 0 for 4 or 1 for 4 with a home run. And if he gets the home run when he's paying off, it doesn't matter if it's 1.5 or 2.5, that home run is worth 3 on its own. If it's a solo, it could be even more. So based on his distribution, this is really strong. Let's see what would happen if we switch that around. So we're going to go Ozuna more than 1.5, Olson here more than 2.5. Notice Olson all the way down to 39%. This drops to 22.1%. So in this case, it's really important which guy you take as the demon play. It's got to be Ozuna. Huge, huge advantage if you go Ozuna instead of Olson. Why is that? Again, because Ozuna, the way that he hits his 1.5, he's very often also going to hit the 2.5. You can't say the same about Olson to the same degree. So yet another way that this tool is just magical. I mean, this thing is so powerful. It's so helpful. There are so many decisions we have to make on a daily basis in PrizePicks to make sure that we are making the best 6-pick plays that we possibly can. This tool makes it so much easier. It cuts down the time and it cuts down the uncertainty, right? Like there are just so many fewer decisions that we have to make when we can go to the tool and get a really strong answer like that one. So absolutely love that. Let's see. I believe there were a couple others that I liked. I think Cardinals had some good ones. So let's jump over to the Cardinals game as well. You can see all of these guys are available at 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBI. So let's look first at Contreras and Nootbaar. We can see both guys are at or above 56%. Great correlation bonus, really strong win probability here. If we instead of going Nootbaar, let's see what happens if we go Goldschmidt. Guy has kind of dropped off, right? Like only 53%. I believe he's probably hitting fifth. One thing to note on Saturdays, Sundays especially, every now and then you're going to get some funky lineups. So if possible, I do like to wait until the actual lineup comes out because, again, if we're going for this 38X with a demon and one of our guys ends up not in the lineup, guess what? It's not dropping to some 5-pick play that's boosted with the odds to, I think it would be 16X. No, we just get the regular 10X and 1.5X for a 4 or 5 if one ties. So we don't want any ties. We don't want any DNPs, anything like that. So if you can wait, I think that's especially true for Contreras. Catcher's more likely to get, that random day off than other position players. So take note of all that stuff. But once we get these lineups, we can kind of hammer away at all these 6-pick plays. So again, dropping down to 31.9%, slightly less correlation. So it looks like Nootbaar is the best answer here with Contreras. Let's also, just for fun, see what happens if we go Nootbaar and Goldschmidt here instead. Getting just closer to Goldschmidt in the order. I believe this is the projected 3 and 5 hitter in the lineup instead of the 2 and 5. Still, correlation goes up a little bit, but we're still below what we would be with this Nootbaar and Contreras pairing. So that's probably where I would go for this pair. I don't think that I'd go to a demon with these guys, but you know what? Let's just for fun. Let's see how these guys compare with the demon. So yeah, down to 22.6% with Contreras. You can see this drops all the way to 37.9. Again, this tells us a lot about who these hitters are. Neither of these guys likely to hit that big home run, bases clearing double, anything like that. These guys are more likely to go single, 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 single. They all hit because of that. So less likely to see the demons as strong plays, but let's just check Nootbaar as well. We can also then check Goldschmidt. So I'll go ahead and put him in there while I'm at it. Let's go Nootbaar first. We see, oh, that's not what we wanted. So, oh man, come on, load up here. Every now and then when you go to these demons, it just takes a little bit longer to query all the results. And it can also be the case that, this game could be rerunning in this exact moment. So sometimes you just have to give it a minute or two. It'll figure itself out. We got to get rid of that. So let's try one more time. Otherwise, we'll just move on from this. Here we go, 24.7%. So actually, this is a pretty strong one. Going to the Nootbaar demon instead of the Contreras demon seems to be a pretty strong play here at 24.7%. It's not the 25.8% or 25.9% that we were seeing from some of the others, but this is still pretty strong given the boost. So if you want to mix this in, you certainly can. Just for fun, let's also see what Goldschmidt's looks like. So yeah, Goldschmidt, not a guy that you want to go to for the standard 1.5 hits plus run plus RBI, but his distribution is a little more tilted towards that demon. So you get 41% and a 23.9%. So he's pretty usable here as well. I wonder if you get more correlation this way. Maybe it's Nootbaar and Goldschmidt, 24.3. So it went up a little bit, but it's still not quite as good as that Contreras and Nootbaar pairing. But you can see, it's not even about what the answers are that we're getting. This is how you can use this tool. This thing is so powerful. It's so helpful. Use it every single day. Make it a part of your everyday process. I think that that's all of the pairings that we're going to go to today. Let me see. Was there any strikeout stuff that we wanted to look at as well? So like Soriano jumps off the board in terms of just being at a line that's a little too low for him. But again, we don't want the ties. So if this were 5.5, or if he had a similar advantage, like if this line was 6.5 and he was projected at 7.56, then I'd be interested. At the moment, not really that interested. Quantrill's really interesting because they're pretty much playing on the moon today in Mexico. You'd think, hey, a Colorado guy pitching outside of Coors Field. He's probably going to be happy about that. Maybe not. They're actually going to a higher elevation today and an easier hitter's park. So we have this at 68%. I'm guessing that we don't have the uncertainty high enough based on those park factors. So I would put this more around like 60%, which is still a pretty solid one. 2.5 is definitely a little low for Quantrill, but not something that I'm running to because we have so many pairings that I like. And then I like the NBA pick at this point a little bit more. So let's jump back to the NBA and let's just see if we can find something it's not going to be as good as that hero less than 0.5 steals, but maybe we can get something else that's worthwhile. Let's go to turnovers here. Talked again about just how strong some of these turnover less than plays can be in the playoffs. We've hit a bunch of them over the last couple of days. We hit Siakam and Miles Turner yesterday. We hit Jokic and Embiid the day prior. Today, we've got both Jaylen Brown and Porzingis available here. I think both of these are strong. I'm guessing they're both going to be just under 70%. Yeah, 68.2, 67.9%. These are good. Like Siakam and Turner yesterday, my inclination is to say maybe don't play them together. But hey, both of them hit yesterday. They both went to overtime and neither turned the ball over. So those picks were clearly really, really strong. We're actually seeing a plus 1% correlation bonus between these two. So maybe we should be playing these together. Again, maybe it's less about the usage and it's more about the overall game environment, whether the offense is humming, whether they're just taking care of the ball as a team. And it also could be about the reffing, right? Like if they're calling ticky-tack illegal screens, if they're calling minor contact in the lane as a charge, they're both more likely to get turnovers. If the refs just aren't blowing the whistle in any way, shape, or form, they're both more likely to get less than these turnover numbers. So maybe they are more positively correlated than I was giving them credit for. Maybe you can play them together. It looks like both of these are quite strong. Where was Miami in opponent turnovers per game? They were, let's see here. Oh, that's not loading very well. I don't know why it's not letting me scroll. Somewhere in the middle of the pack. So it's solid. It's not great. We like it. We don't love it. But you can see just overall a great day. This is quite the comment. You know what? I don't really have an argument. That seems like pretty good analysis to me. And Zach wants another chance to win the Mystery Demon game show. We don't have any Mystery Demons today because I haven't picked out the demons yet, but just took you guys through how I select the demons. And you can see, like, look, I'm not doing any special analysis of my own here. I'm not looking at pitch mix data or anything of that nature. I'm just listening to the tool. The tool knows best. I've given this spiel to our DFS subscribers a lot in my articles this year and in our Discord, where I think it's a really, really important to make, which is our baseball model, our golf model as well. A lot of these models, they are so packed with phenomenal data, all the data that you could possibly want in the model. It's looking at spin rate of every pitch. It's looking at velocity of every pitch. It's looking at how the two are connected. So, 95 miles per hour is going to be more valuable for one player than another because the spin rate is going to be different as well. And the spin direction, not just the spin rate, all of that great stuff. In other words, it's going to predict the games a hell of a lot better than I could do on my own, even if you gave me like 10 free hours to just research every single matchup today. The model is still going to do a better job than I am at predicting the games. And it's especially going to do that when you get to those really complex correlations, like, do I want Matt Olson as the demon or do I want Ozuna as the demon? Those things matter a ton. And the tool is always going to know best because we are simulating every game at the pitch by pitch level. So again, use that tool to your advantage as best you can. We will see you in the Pick'em channel. I'm going to guess somewhere around 1 o'clock. I'm going to be dropping like 5, 6, 7, something like that, 6 pick plays all worth 38x if you go 6 for 6. So hopefully we have a really, really fun day here at FTN. We'll catch you in the Discord, and we'll catch you Monday. Zach will be back here on the PrizePicks Show. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next time.